Turn on subtitles for better understanding. Abraham is known as the father of believers in many great religions around the world. His story begins in ancient Mesopotamia, a land filled with many different gods. But Abraham listened to one true God. He was born in the city of Ur, a rich and busy place near the rivers. People there worshipped idols made of stone. Abraham grew up watching these traditions, but he felt they were not real. One day Abraham understood a new truth. He believed there was only one God, a God who created the sky and earth. This idea was very unusual at that time, but Abraham trusted this powerful voice. God asked Abraham to leave his home. He told him to travel to a new land. Abraham did not know the destination, but he accepted the journey with faith. He believed God would guide him. Abraham left Ur with his wife Sarah. His nephew Lot also joined the journey. They walked with their animals and servants, crossing long deserts and open fields. Their path was slow but full of hope. They finally reached the land of Canaan. It was a beautiful place with hills, green valleys, and many small villages. God promised Abraham this land forever. It would belong to his future family. Abraham built altars to honor God. He prayed with gratitude and respect. These altars became symbols of faith, showing his trust in God's promises. People remembered his devotion. Life in Canaan was not always easy. Sometimes there was hunger and danger. Abraham moved from place to place, searching for water and safe land. But he never lost his faith. A great famine forced Abraham to travel. He and Sarah went down to Egypt. Egypt was strong and full of food, but Abraham feared the powerful rulers. He worried about Sarah's safety. After some time they left Egypt safely. They returned to the land of Canaan. Abraham had grown richer and wiser. His herds and servants had increased. God continued to bless his journey. Abraham and Lot had many animals. Their herdsmen began to argue often. The land could not support them both, so Abraham suggested a peaceful solution. He asked Lot to choose his land first. Lot chose the fertile Jordan Valley. It was green and full of water. Abraham stayed in the hills of Canaan. He accepted Lot's choice with calm. He trusted God to provide everything. God repeated his promise to Abraham. He said Abraham's descendants would be as many as the stars in the sky. This promise felt impossible to Abraham. He and Sarah still had no children. Abraham wondered how this could happen. He was already old and tired. Sarah was also too old for children. But God told him to keep believing. Nothing was impossible for the Creator. One night God made a covenant. He asked Abraham to prepare a sacrifice. A deep sleep fell upon Abraham suddenly. God promised to protect his descendants. This covenant became a sacred moment. Years passed and hope felt difficult. Sarah suggested another solution to Abraham. She asked him to have a child. With her servant Hagar from Egypt, Abraham accepted this painful idea. Hagar gave birth to a son, Ishmael. Abraham loved him with a full heart, but tension grew between Sarah and Hagar. Their home became filled with conflict. Abraham felt torn between them. God spoke again to Abraham clearly. He said Sarah would have a son. Abraham laughed because it seemed impossible, but God repeated the promise with certainty. The child would be named Isaac. 3 mysterious visitors came one day. They arrived near Abraham's tent quietly. Abraham welcomed them with great respect. They repeated God's promise to Sarah. She laughed because she was very old. The visitors said nothing was impossible. They told her she would soon conceive. Sarah felt surprised and confused inside, but the promise was already in motion. A new chapter was beginning. Later Sarah finally became pregnant. It was a miracle for the whole family. Abraham felt joy he had never known. Their long wait was coming to an end. God's promise was becoming real. Sarah gave birth to Isaac joyfully. His name means he laughs in Hebrew. Everyone celebrated the surprising miracle. Abraham thanked God for his faithfulness. Isaac became the center of their life. Isaac grew strong and healthy. He learned from Abraham's gentle wisdom. The family lived peacefully for years. Abraham felt grateful for every moment. He saw God's promise growing slowly. But one day God tested Abraham. He asked him to offer Isaac as sacrifice. This request shocked Abraham deeply inside. He did not understand the command, but he trusted God completely. Abraham prepared for the painful journey. He took Isaac and some servants. They walked toward a distant mountain. Isaac carried wood for the altar. Abraham carried a heavy heart. Isaac asked about the missing lamb. He wondered what they would sacrifice. Abraham answered with calm faith. He said God would provide the lamb. Isaac trusted his father's words. They reached the mountain at sunrise. Abraham built an altar with stones. He placed the wood carefully on top. His hands shook with deep sadness. He prepared to obey God fully. At the last moment God intervened. An angel called Abraham's name loudly. He told him not to harm Isaac. God had seen Abraham's true faith. The test was finally over. Abraham looked around in relief. He saw a ram caught in bushes. He offered the ram instead of Isaac. His heart filled with gratitude again. God had provided the sacrifice. God repeated his promise once more. He said Abraham's descendants would be as numerous as stars and sand. They would become a great blessing. All nations would know their story. Abraham returned home with Isaac. Sarah welcomed them with great joy. Their family felt stronger than before. They understood God's protection clearly. Their faith had grown even deeper. Years later Sarah passed away peacefully. Abraham mourned her with a heavy heart. He bought a cave to bury her. This cave became the family tomb. It remained important for generations. Abraham wanted Isaac to marry wisely. He sent a servant to find a wife. The servant traveled far to Mesopotamia. He prayed for guidance on the journey. God led him to a woman named Rebekah. Rebekah agreed to follow the servant. She traveled back to Canaan with hope. Isaac welcomed her with gentle kindness. They soon married and built a home. Abraham felt peace seeing Isaac happy. Abraham lived many more quiet years. He watched his family grow slowly. He taught them to trust in God. His wisdom guided everyone around him. He became respected by many people. When Abraham grew very old, he felt his life was almost complete. He had seen God's promises begin. He knew his descendants would continue. His faith remained strong until the end. Abraham died at a good old age. Isaac and Ishmael buried him together. They placed him beside Sarah lovingly. The family honored his long journey. His story became a lasting memory. Abraham's life inspired many generations. His courage and faith shaped history. People remembered his trust in God. They saw him as a spiritual father. His example crossed cultures and time. Today, Abraham is honored worldwide. Jews, Christians, and Muslims respect him. They see him as a model of faith. His story connects millions of believers. His legacy continues to grow. Abraham's journey teaches simple truths. Faith can guide people through uncertainty. Trust can open paths we cannot see. Hope can grow even in difficult times. His life remains a light for many.